We're learning Parshat Mishpatim. Parshat Mishpatim has a lot of details. A lot of details that are only hinted at here. But in general, these are laws of damages, damaging laws. Now we have to remember that who is speaking over this is God. God himself, the creator of the universe, the creator of time, the creator of space, the creator of spirit, higher than all the spirits and all the angels and gods and forces and people, whatever. All the other religions worship. We're talking about God himself, the essence of a God. He not only creates the world, but he cares about what we're doing, to the point where he even gave these very, very specific and detailed laws about damages. One person's damages another. On one end, you can ask yourself, why? I mean, what does he need? It could just be a commandment in the Torah that if somebody damages somebody else, go to the judges and they'll figure it out. The judges, America has laws of judges. Every country in the world has some sort of a judicial system. It doesn't work on God's laws. It works on certain principles that they consider to be universal, at least as far as they know. So why did God have to take this trouble and detail and tell us about what happens if somebody's ox gores someone else's ox? And if the first ox had gored before, or had gored 3 times before, and why all these details? So the answer to it is because God is found in the details. In other words, these details are not just what God wanted when he wrote the Torah, but it's what God wants now. If you want to be connected to God's will, so you do these, go according to these laws. But even more, just learning them is attaching you to God's wisdom. Not God's wisdom that it was thousands of years ago, not God's wisdom as it was appeared to Moses, and we're now connected to Moses. There's something to that. But no, when you learn the Torah, if you're a Jew, you are unifying your wisdom, your mind with God's mind. It's explained in the 5th chapter of the Tanya in more detail. But nevertheless, these laws, in addition to the fact of being united with God, which that God could do just by writing ideas of Kabbalah or crossword puzzles or Sudoku or anything. It's God's wisdom. If that's what God wants, it's his wisdom. But these are actually practical. And usually practical laws are called mishpatim. Mishpatim are practical laws. Now in Judaism there's 3 types of laws from God. All of them come from God. There are laws that God made that make sense. Like don't kill, don't steal. Most of the 10 commandments. Honor your mother and father. Practical. Don't lie, don't cheat. Then there are commandments which are religious commandments. Those are called edut. They testify on something that happened in the history of Judaism. Usually in the history of Judaism, we eat matzah on Passover. We keep the Shabbat because God rested on that day. And then there are commandments that make no sense whatsoever. Those are called chukim. And those are commandments, like for instance, you have to put the tefillin on your leg, your arm. You don't write with the left arm, not on the right arm. You don't put a tefillin on your leg. And you have to put on tefillin at all. The fact that the tefillin testify that God took us out of Egypt, and that's a little bit of a eidos, religious. But all these details in the tefillin, who says you have to have all these? It's forbidden in Judaism to boil milk and meat together. Just to boil, not even to eat it. To boil milk and meat together. Okay, what type of milk? What type of milk? Those laws you'll learn. But nevertheless, this makes no sense. Those are called chukim. These are laws you do only because God tells you to do. Essentially, all the commandments are chukim because all the laws we're doing it because God tells us to do. But some of them also make sense, which that's also what God wants. He wants us to understand what we can. It's a commandment. That's the idea of learning the Torah. So with all this in mind, let's start learning all these damages, laws of damages. Says in Parshas Mishpatim, I'll call davar pesha, I'll shor, I'll chamor, I'll call aveda, on any crime, negligence crime, or anything that you lose, asher yomar ki hu zeh, that you can say, this is it, right? I see you with a watch, and I say, where'd you get that watch? He says, oh, I bought it. I said, what do you mean you bought it? It has my name on it. Look at this. It's got my name. He says, no, I wrote your name on it. I wrote your name on it because I like you. I said, well, you don't even know me. That's ridiculous. It's my watch, and I want it, and that's it. So what do? I say, this is it. This is the watch. So we go to it says, call pesha, call aveda, asher yomar, that you can say, ki hu zeh, this is it. Ad ho Elohim. It says, I don't know why it writes Elohim. Ad ho Elohim, to the judges. Yavo davar shneim. Both of them should go. The two litigants go. And then if you find the other fellow was lying, Yishalem shnayim l'reu. If the person stole it, and he stole something to you, from you, and you catch him with it, you go to the judges, he denies it, then he has to pay double. Okay, what is this talking about? I just said in one word. Let's look at this. What is it talking about? The Gemara says, Ki pasuk zeh, that this sentence, zeh b'shomer v'to'on sha'pikadon shehuv karetzel. This is talking about someone who is a guard. I give you my watch to guard. I say I'm going into the mikveh for a couple of minutes. Do me a favor. I've had this watch stolen a couple of times. Hold on to the watch. I'll come out. You're the guard. You take the money at the door of the mikveh. So I give you the watch. I say I'll be right out. I come out. I say give me my watch back. You say, what? Watch. What do you mean watch? That's what I'm doing. I'm watching the door. Says, no. I gave you a watch. I gave you a $20,000 or whatever it is watch. So I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm sorry, you must have stayed in the mikveh too long. Something's wrong with you. I gave you the watch. Look, you have the watch. So look, it's on your arm. You're wearing that watch. This is my watch. My grandmother gave it to me. I'll never forget her. So what are you talking about? You didn't have a watch before. When I gave it in? Go to the judges. They go to the judges. The guy tries lying. The watch got lost. Hu ta'an ta'inas al yada niftar mitashlum. He says, I come to the judges and I say, he stole my watch. And the guy says, the watch is not here. It's gone. Got lost. How did it get lost? Somebody stole it from me. I was a shomer chinam. I was a free watcher. I was watching. Shomer chinam. It's talking about someone who watches my things. I'm not paying him. He has no liability, no responsibility for this watch, except he can't take it and smash it. Can't steal it. But he claims it was stolen from him. Tainas Geneva Vaveda. He said, the watch was stolen from me. Beshomer Sachar. If the person at the door, I give him my watch and I say, watch this, do me a favor, watch the watch. I'll give you $10 for 10 minutes. Then it's a different story. Tainas Onsim. If he comes and says, somebody robbed it from me. Somebody robbed me at gunpoint, took it away from me. That's a good claim. The Nishbral, and he says, I swear to Hashem that this is the truth. As soon as you went into the mikveh, some guy came with a knife, and he said, your watch or your life. And I gave him my watch. I gave him my watch. I'm sorry, I did it. I admit it, but I was afraid. It ends up, he says, yeah, you want to swear to God that you, yes, lift up your right arm. So, no, I swear with my left arm. Lift up the right arm. It says, there's the watch. There it is. It's on. Oh, he lied. He stole and he lied. Halacha, the law it is, Elokim b'yavot davar shneim, to the judges, you both of them, Yishalem shnayim l'reu. He has to pay double. He has to pay double. Okay, so is it clear what the law is? And the law is, here's the talking about in the Torah. It's talking about a law that I gave someone something of mine to watch, to guard. Let's say I didn't pay him. And he says, it got lost. That's a good claim. It got lost. I didn't have to watch over this thing. Then got lost. Right? Then he doesn't have to pay. Afterwards, it's discovered he was lying. That's another one. That's Aveda. That's another thing. Aveda. Says the watch gets lost. He says, I don't know which watch you're talking about. And then afterwards it's revealed that it's not so. He made a claim that by means of that claim, he would have been exempt. And then it's discovered that he lied. And he stole before that. He stole the watch and he lied. So he stole, and also he made a vow, so he has to pay double. To Bar Kamapamim, we spoke many times, Shekol Inyanim, that everything should be Gili the Torah, everything which is in the Torah, Yeshnom Gam Bebechinas Ruchnius, they also exist spiritually. Ad Rabbah, even more. Mishum Shem Kayim Beruchnius, because these things exist spiritually, therefore they also are physically. In other words, everything there is written in the Torah has its spiritual counterpart. Of course, the big difference is the things written in the Torah are temporal. And also it doesn't apply everywhere in all times. If I'm not a thief, so this law doesn't apply to me. Or if I never give my things to anybody to watch, also doesn't apply. That's physically. But spiritually, everything in the Torah applies to everyone at all times. In some way or another, some level. Let's see. Also these laws of purposely sinning. Peshia can mean many things. But in this case it means Peshia means that a person, either he was negligent or he purposely lied. Shlichas yad b'pikadon, stealing someone's what's a pikadon? A pikadon is a surety, a collateral. That's what it is, collateral? Yeah. Deposit. That's right. Taking someone's deposit. Me'ila b'shavua, and also lying, taking a false oath. U'pasak din, and also this law that they should go to the judges and he has to pay double. Kaimas, all these laws apply also spiritually. And like I said, spiritually applies to everyone at all times. So in other words, the Torah is alive. Very, very important achievement of Chassidut is to reveal something, reveal a truth. The truth is that the Torah is referring to eternal things. And these eternal things are relevant to the world, the physical world. This whole entire physical world is not here by accident. And it's not here just as a testing ground. And it's not here as just a big maze to try to get out of it. And to be unattached to the world. No. Of course, a person has to be unattached to the bad things in the world. But a person has to care about the world. A person has to have responsibilities in the world. These responsibilities that we have to the world are eternal. Human beings now are the exact same human beings with the exact same characters and traits as Adam, the first man. The Rebbe once pointed out even now it's even worse than man. Now we're more primitive than it was back then. It says Cain, in order to kill his brother Abel, he had to stab him a lot of times and hit him. He didn't know how to kill him. Nowadays we can press one button. You press a button, God forbid, you could kill 1 million people with no problem, right? It's very, right? The most developed nation in the world, right? The Germans in World War II, they were making specific bombs and precision bombs and the best planes and using all their intelligence just how to kill people and how to maim people and how to scare people and how to force people. So we see that nowadays man is much, much worse than he was in the beginning. So these laws of the Torah, just like man has not changed, the bad things, also for sure the good things have not changed. So that's what the Torah is talking about. And what are these laws? How does this apply spiritually? These laws of stealing and lying. The third Rebbe of Chabad, the Tzemach Tzedek Nishma Zayden, Mefarish explains by Maimar. He explains in one of his Chassidic discourses. And those of you who have never read Chassidic discourses, they're based usually on Kabbalah. 20%, 30%, 90% on Kabbalah to explain the secrets of the Torah and the secrets of the world and the secrets of the Jewish soul. That's called a Mamar. He explains over there, the third Rebbe explained, I'll call davar pesha. This whole sentence that says on any negligence or any lying, any cheating, he explains it ba'avoda ruchnis, spiritually in the soul of man. But let's go back to what we said over. Nachzor efo al chelik mi'amaymar. Let's go take one little part of that ma'amar, of that Chassidic speech of the third Rebbe of Chabad, which is relevant to us. Avoda ruchnis, spiritual service in the soul of man. B'kol ish Yisrael, and every Jew, nimsa pikadon, there is found a trust, a collateral, what did you call it? A security. God gave us a loan, a security, something to hold on to and to watch. And he gets it back. What is that? The neshama, our soul. Oto tzarich lishmor, a person has to guard his soul. Sheyishar b'shleimuto, that it should remain whole. Lo yipagam, and it should not become blemished. Everybody's born. Everyone, for sure, everybody listening to this, watching this video, and everyone watching this video, I mean, I hate to break it to everybody, but everybody's going to die. Not to be negative. But what dies is the connection to of the soul to the body. But the fact is, the soul never dies. The soul is eternal. So the soul, in that aspect of the soul, when the soul is connected to us, it seems that it belongs to us. But in fact, it doesn't belong to us. That's like somebody giving his watch to the guard at the mikveh, right? He just went in for a while and he's going to come out and take it. The guard can't do what he wants to. Same thing, God gives us the soul. The soul seems to be ours. For the 80, 90, 120 years that we're here, it seems to be ours. But in the end, God says, okay, you have the soul, I want it back. What does it mean to guard the soul? Sheyehudi tzorich la'anik, the neshama, a Jew has to give to his soul kashura, gam, b'shvua, and this is connected also with an oath. Like it says, the soul, when it comes into the world, right before it comes into the world, that's how the Tanya starts. Mashbim ota, you're given an oath. Te'et tzadik v'al tiyarasha. Be a tzadik, be righteous, and don't be evil. The Tanya explains what it means to be evil and what it means to be a tzadik. Very beautiful, very complicated, but very beautiful. In the end, very simple. So here we have the exact same thing. The person sitting at the entrance of the mikveh, that's us, our body. The watch is our soul. The oath that we take is before we're born, we're giving an oath that we're going to be righteous, we're going to do what God wants, and we're not going to let the body drive us crazy and take it away with temporary pleasures, which don't get you anywhere anyway. So now we can start to understand. We're not talking about watches, and we're not talking about men sitting at the guards at the mikveh. We're talking about the soul, and we're talking about us, each and every one of us. Every human being that was born since Adam has a soul, and everybody has a body. And everybody gives it back, and everyone took an oath that he's going to watch the soul. Al kol davar pesha, that's what it means. Now trouble starts. Ha'adam, a person, a poshea, who is negligent. The pikadon, in the security that's given to him, the trust. Umoel b'shvua, and he lies in his oath. He was given an oath, I'm going to try to be a tzaddik. Minayin noveh hadaber, where does this come from? How can it be that a person forgets that his soul is just temporary? How can he steal it and lie? How can he do that? So it explains, the continuation of the sentence says, Al shor, al chamor, al seh, al salma. It says whether the thing, and the simple meaning, whether the thing entrusted to you is an ox, a donkey, a sheep, or a garment. Simple meaning. What's the spiritual meaning? These are 4 reasons why a person would steal and lie. What's this got to do with it? An ox, a donkey, a sheep, and a garment. Those are 4 reasons people lie. What does that mean? We'll see. Let's see. Eile prati sugim, these are different levels of the animal soul, like we're going to learn. And mevi'im, which come to call aved, I'll call aveda, to losing your godly soul, losing it. It's still there, but you just lost connection with it. Lokach, therefore, a nefesh elokis, the God soul, gets lost. It gets lost. Ad lasher yomar ki hu zeh, until God can say, who? That God, harihu omar zeh. No, I'm sorry. Al hu, on things that are far away, you say zeh. What does this mean? Zeh, in a simple meaning, is talking about God. Kalapi shum davar iev shalom omar zeh. There is nothing, we talked about this before. There is nothing in existence that you can actually point to it and say, this is reality, this is true. Can't. Why? Only God. Why is that? Let's take simply why. The only thing you can really say that this is real is only God. Why? Because the way the body works is, in order to sense something, it takes time. You touch something, you see something, you hear something. It takes time for that, from when you perceive it until your brain digests it. Right? Until you digest it. Or even more. It takes time from when the thing happens until it gets to you. Right? You see a coin, right? The coin is there. It takes a fraction of a second for the light to get to your eye. So really, you're always seeing something and hearing something and experiencing something that was a second earlier. It's never really right now. Can't be really right now. And that's beside the fact of our interpretation of the things. You see a thing, sometimes you can misinterpret it. You don't know what it is. You don't notice it. Not important to you. And so the only thing that you can really say this, and that you know that the thing exists for sure, is only God. Why? Because God is existence, real reality. Individual things, right? It takes time for you to perceive them. But existence itself, you know that you exist. A person automatically knows that he exists. Just by his existence, he's experiencing an aspect of God. So God is ultimate reality. Ultimate reality. You just take a very simple example, not going to have to go too far. People go crazy for money. People go berserk for attention. People go wild. To be a movie star. Everyone wants to be a movie star, a rock star. Standing in front of 200 million people. They're all yelling his name. It's tremendous happiness, right? After all those people go, what's it worth? What was it worth? If all those 200 people, they came to see him, and all of a sudden they say, he stands up on this, right? His name is Joe Schmo. And all the people are yelling, Sam, Sam, Sam. My name is not Sam, it's Joe. All of a sudden, all the 200 million people, it was a mistake. I thought they were all coming for me, right? They were coming for somebody else. Oh, yeah, he feels so bad, right? Feels so terrible. What does he feel terrible? It's 200 million people. They're all watching him. He has $100 million in the bank. Suddenly they change the currency. Currency is not worth anything anymore. right? Now, American dollars is not worth anything. Now, fish is the only thing that's worth anything. American dollars totally devalued. What's the guy got? Nothing. What's he got? Right? What's he have? So really, all these people, what do they really have? What, in fact, really do they have? So you can say, well, I have myself. What's your self? How do you measure yourself? By what? Yourself by what? How much money you've got? No, that we already said that. Not by popularity. No, by power. No. Who is yourself? What is yourself? So the real self of a person is his soul. The soul. The soul is something that's eternal. That's the godliness. A person can lose it. It's possible for a person to lose it. If a person goes too crazy about money, he goes too crazy about other things. So he doesn't want his soul. He's got the most valuable thing in the world. And he doesn't want it. What does he want? He wants attention. He wants pleasure. He wants this. He goes that. Attention and pleasure and those things is not bad, but it shouldn't take the place of your soul. Then take the place. So says the Rebbe. That's what it says. Ki hu zeh. Zeh, the really only real zeh, really is God. Aleph. Zeh. This means it can only be regarding God. Why? The only thing you can really say this, the only real existence is God. Why? Shekain mitziuto shalanivra, because the existence of any created thing, einenu hu, it's not really that thing. Ki im achayus elokit hame'aveoto, because the fact is, everything in the world is being created by God constantly. Ayin liyesh, from nothing to something. Ubelashon Rambam, like the Rambam says, Ein sham motzui emes bilvado. There is no real existence except for God. Even according to science, I mean, I'm sure everybody heard of this, but according to at least the classical way of looking at atoms, so atoms are 99.999% nothing, empty. There's a little electron floating around there. So when we see things, what are we really looking at? We're just seeing what seems to be an illusion of what things really are. Are they? So a person can say, on the other hand, one second, if it's only illusion, then I can steal. So the answer to that is, okay, good, but the same illusion is also your body, right? So they'll put you, your illusionary you, into an illusionary prison. And you'll sit there illusionary for the next 50 years. That's okay. That's a big illusion. So the only real existence, the Rebbe is saying, is God, because God is creating all other existence. All other existence is created. Zeh means hine zeh. Ha'efsharut lomar b'kol davar. And a thing, this is it. This is only regarding godliness. Why? Because every creation is limited. And every creation is limited to a certain place. Therefore, you cannot say zeh, you cannot say this. Why? Because everything, its existence is very, very weak. Shem shamayim shogar b'fi kol. But the name of God is common by all the Jewish people. Rak l'gabi HaKodesh Baruch Hu, because Hashem is found everywhere. Leis aser panoim minei. There's nothing lacking. There's no place empty from Him. If shalom mar, then you can say zeh hine zeh. And that's what the Rebbe is saying. No, there is no true existence except for the Creator. If it was a true existence, it wouldn't be limited. If it's limited, it's a very limited type of existence. So therefore, you can't point to a thing and say, this is ultimately real. Nothing is ultimately real. Everything is totally dependent on God creating it. Of course, this is faith. This is the ultimate. But even a non-Jewish religious person, a person that doesn't believe in anything, right? He also knows that it's possible to hypnotize a person, that a person believes he's holding in his hand a hot coal, or he's holding in his hand an apple. He's not holding anything. So much of it depends on our perception, which is not the case, our perception itself, or even more the creator of our perception. So on that we can say, that's the soul. But because everything is concealed, why do we think then that this thing is really real and this is real? Because we can't see the power of God that's creating it. If we could see the power of God that's creating it, then we would know that the only reason that this is real is because there's something more real that's creating it, namely Hashem. Okay, what's the Rebbe want to say here? The soul of a Jew is a thing which is ultimately real, and it really truly exists, which is unlike anything else. The soul is something which is eternal, and it is real. But we can lose it. We can lose it. We can lose it, and we can misuse it. B'yachas leprate dargos, regarding the different levels of the soul, which we said before that these are the four things that can make us steal and lie. We have an ox, a donkey, a sheep, and a garment. The Tzemach Tzedek explains, this is the mimer from the third Rebbe of Chabad. Sure. What's sure? These are four, I want to call it urges, natures, that can make us forget about our godly soul. One of them, shor nagchan, a goring ox. A goring ox. There are people that think that the whole world is against them, and for sure they think they're against the whole world. Shark eat shark, dog eat dog. Therefore, their whole life is just to either conquer or to avoid being conquered. Totally selfish. They're not thinking about the Creator. They're not thinking, being grateful to their talents or their abilities or their life or anything. They are a goring ox. Me against the world. Chamor. What's a chamor? A donkey. It says a donkey, even in the middle of Tammuz, the hottest time of the year, karirale, he's cold. Coldness. Coldness to Judaism, coldness to God, coldness to Torah, coldness to mitzvahs, right? Cold, the person is cold. Nothing excites him, nothing gets him this, right? He doesn't like other people, he doesn't like himself, he doesn't. Cold. Salma. What's a salma? A garment? It says beged bogdim bogdo. It says a garment represents, how do you say, perfidy, infidelity, going against Hashem, pretending that you really care, doing the commandments, but in a truly insincere way. That's the word for salma is a beged. Beged is the same word for infidelity. And seh. What is a seh? A seh is seh pzura Yisrael. The sheep. Jews are called the scattered sheep. So these are four elements, four factors that make a person forget about his soul. Make a person forget about real reality. And what are they? Either a person could be a goring ox, or a person could be cold like a donkey, or a person can be deceitful, untruthful, which is represented by a salma, beged, or a person can be scattered and not care, anything, whatever, like a sheep. Im ki yesh lahashmir, yishomer, even though that a person, we have to guard, mikol sugi and nefesh abamis, from all these four different types of negative forces in us. Shekein kol echad me'am, each one, alul, is able La'avi la'avedat nefesh, to make us forget our godly soul, Rahman Atzlan. Right? A person can get so much into being cold, being tricky, to be, how do you say, not uninterested, or to be the belligerent, that he completely forgets about Torah. It doesn't make any difference to him. It doesn't affect him. Nevertheless, yesh b'kol zot l'kol zman haklipa miyuchedet lo. Each time has its, even though you have to watch out for all these four, but there are special ones for special times. Let's see. Negda yesh la'amod b'yichud. There are certain ones you have to really be careful. Therefore, let's concentrate. Al bira inyan, what is this idea of seh, of a sheep? Hanogea b'miyuchad l'dornenu. The main problem of our generation is the, how do you say, the destructive nature, which is called being a sheep. A person has in himself to be destructive like an ox, to be destructive like a liar, a garments, it says, boged, beged. But our generation, especially, our problem is the problem of the bad nature of a sheep. What's the nature of a sheep? If there's no shepherd, everybody's totally scattered. Everybody has nothing what to concentrate on, and they're all scattered. That's the problem of our generation. And we'll continue tomorrow, God willing.
It seems that he's talking about yourself.
Right.
Sheep, explode, ox.
Right.
It seems like in most cases, people don't know their soul ever. They never, it's not that they lost it, they're looking for it.
Yeah, let's say two things on that. Right, you're right. Number one, these sichas are first of all written for the Chassidim. In other words, the Chassidim, they're plagued with this. That's number one. Number two, the Chassidim, especially in Chabad, their job is to have an overview of all of the Jewish people. So these are forces even when you go to a Jew and you tell him about Judaism and you explain to him about Judaism, and he gets even excited about Judaism, right? Which that's what we're trying to do. Nevertheless comes this aspect of the sheep and wipes the whole thing away. But what does it mean? He gets excited about Judaism, puts on tefillin, he has a wonderful conversation with you. He tells you about his grandfather and how they gave their lives for Judaism. He starts to cry. He thinks how wonderful it is putting on tefillin and how he would like to see his children grow up. This, right? And he says, "Thank you very much." He goes to sleep. 2 months later, right? The Chabadnik calls him up and says, "Hello, I've been trying to call you up. Oh yeah, I've really been busy. Maybe come down and talk." Well, that's a really great idea. I really love the conversation we had. I'm free in a month and a half, and a month and a half. I thought we were gonna, I invited you to my birthday. It was 2 weeks ago. I thought, oh yeah, wow, I'm really sorry, Rabbi. I'll send money. I'll send in the cash. I'll send the check in, right? I'll send in the check. But you were so excited about this. I have the mezuzahs for your door. Ah, yeah, the mezuzahs. Wow, yeah, you're really right. Wow, I wanted to talk to my wife about that. So you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll go talk and I'll call you right back. I'm going to call you right back tomorrow. Not like last time. I'm going to call you right back. 2 months later, and that's what a sheep is. A sheep is. It's just not connected. Just wherever I am, that's where I am, and this is whatever I want. That's what I do. It's not like belligerent, and it's not hot desires. It's just take it easy.
Even someone who considers himself positive, he comes every day, and he comes
right.
Every day. He's still a sheep.
Yeah, that's what the Rebbe's saying. Exactly.
That's what I was talking.
Right.
But he was always a sheep. He was never anything.
That
a sheep. That's what I was trying to say. Was that it seems like it's more the other way, that we're trying to break through our sheepness to visit ourselves. It's not like we lost ourselves. Once we got born.
Right, but nevertheless, there's tens of stories about the prince, the king's son who wanders away, and this thing he forgets. Okay, but he's really a king's son, and it could be that he never really wanted to be a king's son, and he always hated the idea of being a king's son, or it could be that he was stolen away when he was young or something. When he was just a baby, he was kidnapped from the throne. Whatever it is, but the fact is he's a king's son. So one of the things that keeps him away from this is, this fact. Let's take an example. They have sometimes, people that, your father was a big soldier. He was a big, my father, I'm going to be a soldier. Your father was a big baseball player. I'm going to be a big baseball player. Your father was a big rabbi. Maybe I'll be a baseball player. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't, why doesn't it excite him? Why doesn't Judaism excite him? This same person is not excited, he would be willing to give his life for Judaism. He would give his life. If someone came and said, either bow down to the cross or we're going to burn you on the stake, he'll say, of course I'll bow down to it. All of a sudden he says, Shema Yisrael, I'm not going to do it. And there were people that were like that. They were like that. But the fact is that still the sheep aspect is still there. And the Rebbe will talk about it. He'll discuss it.